Every project manager needs to write project progress reports or status reports. So, what should we put in them? The first thing to say about the content of your project progress report is that you should always tailor it to the needs and the preferences of the people who are going to read it. Your sponsor, your project director, your client, your project board, your steering group, and your stakeholders. The report is there to serve two needs, those of communication and good governance. So, it must provide your steering group or your project board or your sponsor with the information they need to provide good oversight and to make good decisions. And it must also give your stakeholders, your customers, your users the information they want to feel they are fully up to date with what's going on in your project. So, interview key stakeholders from each of these groups to understand what information they want to see in your report, and also the format they want you to present that information in. Then add the information that you also believe they need to see. Finally, design your report based on all of this understanding. Secondly, it also makes sense for long projects to keep the design of your report under review, to keep your report both fresh and relevant. As the needs of your stakeholders change and the context of your project shifts, you will need a different reporting format with different information, sometimes presented in different ways, and sometimes just given a facelift to keep it feeling new and interesting. As a result, you may need to go through this stakeholder interview process a number of times during a long project. With all this in mind, what's the range of things that I'd expect to see as candidates for content of a project progress report? Well, I'd expect to see a headline summary of the most important content of any report. That said, this should always be the last part of the report you prepare. In drafting your executive summary, you need to consider all of the contents of the report and the story that it's telling you. What milestones have been completed since the last report, and what are overdue? And what milestones might be coming up for the next report, and what's your forecast for them? What's the status of key tasks or work streams against your schedule and against your budget? Are they completed? Are they underway? Or have they yet to start? And what is your forecast completion date and outturn cost? What are the actions you're taking to manage overdue or late forecast activities? And what are you doing to manage over budget activities or activities that are forecast to come in over budget? What's your overall budget status? How does the project expenditure match to the project budget? You may want to look at this for key areas of the budget and also address how systemically you're dealing with any budget overruns. What issues have arisen since the last report? And how are you handling them? And what's the status of issues you reported on last time? Have you dealt with them, or are they still ongoing? You'll need an assessment of key project risks and any actions that are underway or planned to deal with them. What major risks have you closed out since the last report, and what are outstanding? And of course, what is your assessment of the overall risk to the project? You may want to report on the utilisation of key project resources, people, materials, equipment, and other assets. Are there any issues or threats relating to either these resources or to their future availability? What support do you require from your steering group, your project board, or your sponsor? And what decisions might you require them to take? If there are decisions, what's the background information that they need to absorb and understand before making their decision? You may also want to offer a simple colour-coded assessment of either the whole project or certain aspects of the project often known as a traffic light or RAG status. RAG standing for red, amber, green. In many countries, the traffic lights are referred to as red, yellow and green. I have a video on what is a RAG report, and I'll put a link to it in the description. Finally, sign your report. Your project report is a document of record. It is part of your audit trail, and it is important that you take responsibility for the report that appears in your name. In some circumstances, a project director or project sponsor may also formally author the report and countersign it. Once the report has been received by a steering group, project board, or a project sponsor, often you will want to formally enter it into the record so that you have an audit trail that shows that the right people have read and discussed the report that you've made. Project reporting is an important part of project communication and, critically, of project governance. So it pays to get it right. Please do give this video a like if you've enjoyed it or learned from it. I'll be making loads more great project management videos for you, so please do subscribe to the channel and hit the bell so you don't miss any of them. And I look forward to seeing you in the next one.